Hey, crypto media friends. I'm here with a double overtime, we'll say, because holy crap, I just started going live and noticed my mic was off. So back with you, and here to talk about a little bit about macro day today. We're talking about an actual crypto project called Lukso. I know I get sort of deeper into NFT projects, but I wanted to share with you guys, an exciting one that I thought was, in this vein of, artistry of Onis and the sevens, and now you're excited because you want to know what the next thing is, the hot thing is going to be. And I tell you, like, it was a small collection. The art was super cool, but it got bought right up, and the floor, jumped right up because the ability to manipulate these projects with, especially if you have an availability to talk to the people that own it. You can, I was kind of likened to Wall Street bets in a weird way. You can control the price. This happens in all the Discord. They say, "Oh, buy the floor. We're starting to slip," or delist your stuff. Do not get in there. Like, you need to delist your thing because we don't want the floor to drop. And so, I think that there's a lot of price manipulation that goes into NFTs, and it's part of the game. And an example of that small one was just like, even if I were to share it today, it's like it's almost like as if it was priced out because everyone bought it at 0.05, immediately put it at 1 ETH because the project was that small. And I'll review with you another project because. I think maybe it's more affordable, but I think there's something about it, not just the project, but with the intention. I think the intentions of what we can do with these projects can be significant in a charitable manner, and I think it's a great example of it. It's not an example of it, but it's an inspiration for it. And so, and then of course, we'll talk about holy cow, the money. I mentioned yesterday, I was like, oh, did Onis make 9 million, or did they make they made $90 million, guys, in the last 5 days. 90, that's like a blockbuster movie coming out in 5 days, making $90 million. This is Hollywood level money at this point. So take notice. This money's real, and I'll show you that's not even including the mint, guys. That's just the marketplace and secondary sales. And we'll get into some of the headlines that's been hitting because I think people are going to start noticing because as awesome as that sounds, in 5 days, we'll see how much money Cryptopunks and Bored Apes made in 90 days. So, but I wanted to introduce you guys to Lukso because I bought a new phone. And I made this stupid mistake. Please don't do this mistake of trading in your phone. You have to keep your old phone. I was like, oh hey, I'm gonna transfer all my stuff over, right, guys? And like, yep, you're transferred over. And I looked at my phone. I'm like, oh, all the apps are there. This is great. All from my old phone to my new phone, all my apps are there, and I can push them, and I kind of see them pop up. For some reason, of course, none of my Google Authenticator, my two-factor authentication, if you know what I'm talking about. And this is the problem, guys. There is a level of hoops, which I've been dealing with all day, putting in seed phrases, of technology that is obfuscating to getting to the NFTs, to getting to Web 3.0, to getting to the metaverse. And a project like Lukso is looking to bridge that gap, and they're trying to create that by creating a user identity that is universal, a universal identity. And I think I was kind of joking about Visa, checking your wallet. I mean, it's all blockchain. It's all out there, and so why not have that reputation stay with you, so you don't have to have the multiple wallets. You don't have to have all these things that obfuscate the process. I can use, my Vogu in whatever Decentraland, wherever I want to go, because it's all within this sort of keychain, if you will, that's assigned to a specific user. Now, there's a lot of technology and hoops, but man, if you're going to go in with a team, I think this is the team you might want. It starts with the guy who was with the Ethereum project and submitted the ERC20 token standard, and has created a new standard, which is the 725, I think it is. But that is the unique identity on blockchain. And this is the thing. There's not a lot about Lukso out there. There's I listened to a couple of interviews with the founder. Super smart dude. And he just happened to have this really great friend who is connected very well, in the business world, especially to luxury, and to I hear you got Karl Lagerfeld, and so to the space of luxury and really high powered brands like Porsche, like Burberry. And so when you have that association, you have a lot of credibility, in a sense of when you drop with something like Burberry, then you have other influencers who are like, oh wow, yeah, like I like to wear that, and and so like I'd like to drive a Porsche. And so there's this concept of whoa, okay, there's credibility there. And so certainly this guy Fabian Vogelsteller is a super smart dude. He's the programming sort of force behind it. It's its own blockchain, and they just want to try and eliminate the idea that you're dealing with blockchain. And so the Web 3.0 experience should just be ease of use, and that in its heart is luxury. Luxury wants to make things effortless, and to have prestige associated with it, and to have your experience thought about, but in a way that's not about having a MetaMask wallet and then worrying if that transfer has gone through, because my God, like sometimes when you transfer to MetaMask, you're like, wait, that was an Ethereum address, right? Or like, you really want to make sure that, because if you send it to the wrong thing, it's gone. And that's absolutely frightening. And, it's intimidating when you have to deal with, especially in the Ethereum network now, where you have to do a couple grand, or else you're just going to lose so much in transaction fees. By the time you get your NFT, you're out 20%. So that thing better damn well moon, because it's like you're already invested so heavily in what people consider and call gas fees or transaction fees associated with working in the Ethereum network. And so the token itself, I've been in for a while, and I'm not here to shill. It's just I happen to know about the project, and I felt like, man, it'd be nice to have that today. It's a far way off, guys. It's not happening tomorrow. This thing is still in testnet, and it's still like at a meteoric rise of like 900%, from its initial offering. And so it went up like much everything else based upon the potential of it. And that's what a lot of this stuff in blockchain is. It's based off potential. You're not really seeing the end product here, are you? For a lot of these projects, my God, look at Cardano. Like they don't even have smart contracts until a couple days ago. And so you're betting on the future. And it just occurred to me, what a nice future that could be potentially. And also crazy, nightmarish, cyberpunk stuff of like governments manipulating or whatever. But like, hey, I'm not going to have to carry around all these stupid seed phrases and enter them into my phone one by one, because I had way too many wallets, guys. Way too many wallets. But funny enough, I was also came across the $900 million month for CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks. I don't know what these mean. $900 million month for CryptoPunks, but we can look at OpenSeas and review, like, okay, under these, what do we have? We have Oni, and in Oni, it's like you're at 31,000. Now remember that has a K at the end, and so that's important. But look, this has just been 7 days. This is a week. And so you still got $25 or $25, yeah, 25 Ethereum, $75,000, $80,000 of sales. That's an actual sale, and that's the incredible part about the project is those rarities come and hit, and they're works of art that people are going to pay for. But in terms of the overall project, looking at this from the creator standpoint again, we got this project together. And, we made 90-day volume, or 7 day, this week, we made 31,000 Ethereum. And, we're just going to take 5% of that. And at Ethereum's price, that is $5 million. This is just off secondary sales, you taking 5%. Now, what's that mean? How much is the overall project made in terms of a gross of a week? So we take that 31,285, right? And then multiply by Ethereum, relative price. That's $100 million in 1 week. That is a Hollywood blockbuster movie. That's like movies don't get that these days, especially. And so in terms of its grosses, amazing. You kind of hope that a lot of that money is going to get funneled back into the community. That's the idea. As I say these things, have a feel of a GoFundMe where you're like, okay, this is generating a lot of money, so that they're going to be able to do that comic book, they're able to do that cartoon, they're going to be able to do that live action starring Ben Stiller. There's so many creative things that you can do once you have the money. And so what you're banking on, with these things from a collector standpoint is the money. Which from a creator standpoint, you're like, we get a whole pool of money to do some crazy stuff. Bored Apes ostensibly was about in real life things, and I think that's why people gravitated towards that, because they were like, we're going to do Bored Ape parties and networking things, and it had also, look at what's happening with Bored Apes. They're mooning like crazy. Like, it was already huge, but now the average is like 80. That's the average. The average price is 68. Average. And so it's gone moon because, again, people can't afford the CryptoPunks. They're going to the next hottest thing. They're going to the Yale of NFTs, which is Bored Apes. Pardon the expression. But, it's just like they're going to that secondary. What's going to be hot next? What's the next hottest thing? Because I can't afford this thing. And so, that's kind of what's happened to Onis. But I think a lot of what's happening to Sevens is like that group that's, wasn't to Onis is like, well, what's the next thing? Because that was great. I made, $100,000. I want to do that again. And I got the money, and I'm going to be able to put so much gas on that mint that I'm going to suck all the air out of that mint, because people are going to put $10,000 gas easy on Sevens, because their head is like, oh, well, I'm going to be able to, at the end of that, be able to sell at about an Oni price, because they're limited. They're also like at 7,000. They're, the Discord is insane right now. Like, we got 10 days, 12 days, September 7th, until, this thing is even released, and they already have 17,000 people in their Discord. And so that was Oni's before release day. This has a lot more time. So essentially everybody in crypto land is basically going to be in this thing by that time. So it's a very, very interesting trajectory, that we're looking at in terms of how much money these things can generate, and what can we do with this money it becomes the question, honestly. And so I was like preparing to like talk to you guys about this, like, this nice little project that I found. And I was talking to some people about it, and they were just like, oh, yeah, these are great. They bought up the entire floor, and they put them at 1 ETH. They bought it 0.05, and they put it at 1 ETH, the entire collection, because that collection was that small, and it shows the market manipulation. But it also shows, and I'm going to try and break down here, some potential for different things that can be done in in the space. And so I'm always looking for, the way to actually functionally help charities and to help people in need. And so this didn't do it, I don't think, but it inspired me in conjunction with another project I'll show you, that there is potential here for this, because this photographer did some just great photography of this time of this flood, and did some beautiful black and whites, and showing people in a disaster and people dealing with disaster, and it's beautiful. They're working to get their life back together, and working through the tragedy of it all. And so I was like, oh, cool, this is very nice. And then so I was doing my research, and I just caught like wind of a couple of collectors on a board who were just like, oh yeah, well, let's buy them all. And so they just came in. There's only maybe 30 of these, and they bought at 0.1. And you can tell by looking at this is blockchain, so you can just kind of look through, and you can tell like somebody mentioned it, and then everybody bought at 0.1, and yesterday, and push this guy's project up. And that's great for him, because like 17 days ago he drops it at 0.5, nobody's buying. 0.1, again, nobody's buying for 14 days. So for 2 weeks he's thinking like, wow, this is crap. NFTs are shit. And so but somebody mentions it, whether that's on a board, whether that's an influencer, and suddenly you have an escalation in price. And so I mean, that's kind of like the quote unquote secret to a lot of this stuff, and that's why there's such heavy vying for influencers, just people to mention it, because I think once you get to it, and if the stuff is good like this stuff is, there's value in it, and it's clear value. And so people that have taken that, and I think keen eyes, who have an understanding of aesthetic, are going to flip this, and they're going to raise that price and generate money towards what though. And so it's just like, well, what if this was generating money for these people, like for people who are actually the subjects here who are in the the hurt locker of dealing with a disaster. And so this isn't a great project. Don't buy this project. Incrementum. This is not even reverse psychology. I just came across them, and I think it was inspirational in this nice way, in that I think that they think that they're doing this for charity to some degree, and but it's just not well set up. They're just like two dudes from Southern California, who were like, yeah, let's play with blockchain. And I think this is awesome, playing with blockchain in this way, because at the end of the day, like, could you potentially, with this, contribute to a tree planting initiative? Like, the tokenomics just don't even make sense to me. But I'm like, plant trees. I get that part. Okay. So if I buy this NFT, how much of that is going to go to planting the trees? How much money? We just, on other projects, we just generated $900 million this past month. We just generated $100 million this past week if you're in Onis. Where does that money go? What is it doing? Is it contributing to the communities that are part of the Discord? In what way? I think, Animatus is doing a really nice job in taking a very business approach. They're hiring marketing people. They're hiring development people who are going to help them sort out value within, the space. And I think that it's very powerful. But what if we could do a little good other than just, the side channel? I think Glue Horse Factory, Glue Factory show, is very clear that they want to make an impact with, contributing a modest amount to, a specific charity. It's a stable, and I think that money has really gone a long way to helping, that stable. But I will say they're probably taking a huge chunk for them. Let's be very clear. They want to do an animation show, so that's very expensive, and most of that money is going there. What if going there was the charity. And so that's something that I'm constantly like I'm looking at my board here. I'm like, because I'm always constantly writing out ideas that I think this space could use, in whether that's as a creator, creatively, artistically looking cool, but like, where does it benefit? And so where does it truly benefit, other than just like, a side thing of like, yeah, a small portion will be for, saving the planet. Well, let's save the planet like straight up. And then like maybe if there's a little of that left over, we can live on the planet. So yeah, just a small, I hope that wasn't a soapbox, because I don't mean it to be, but I do think there's potential here. And like, subscribe, and I know this was a weird, boring one because it didn't actually get to a project that you can moon on, other than the ones that are already existing. Other than Lukso, there's a lot of people on the boards who believe Lukso, this is not financial advice, who believe that Lukso is going to do very well, because once it hits mainnet, and I think people understand its value, people believe that this will be a blue chip coin at some point. But whether that's end of the year, whether that's next year, I'm not sure. It just happened to be like on my mind because I'm just like, man, this would be great if I didn't have to enter all my seed phrases in all of my wallets, and then like way too many wallets. And those of you who are in crypto know that and understand that there's hoops that we had to, it took a while for us to sort of understand the hoops. And hopefully, some of these videos, like, I came up off of, these YouTube videos of people, when I was doing mining, when I was doing, trying to understand the wallet system and the KYC, and, getting the coins, and then, going into MetaMask, and then discovering Uniswap, and like, the staking, etc. And so, that took time, but that took a huge leap of faith at each step. And so, what if that was taken away, and you had this one singular sort of just identification of just like, oh yeah, hey, it's you. You don't have to enter like these 19 seed phrases. You're good. You're you. Okay, amazing. So that's kind of Lukso. It's a part of Lukso, honestly. I think they're really going to do great things in the NFT space as well because of their relationships. But it's part of the vision of Web 3.0, and just understanding that token, I think, is my advice here. It's not to ape into it in any way, but where does that money go? I think kind of becomes the question on my mind that I'll leave you with this weekend. And I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for the great comments that you guys have been leaving, and the personal messages about how well you're doing with some of these projects. And again, they're not. I'm not doing this so that people are sort of making a ton of money or not, because like there'll be other ones where I'm just like, yeah, this is cool, but it might not have massive moons for years, because there's value. But that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at value that's long term. That's it's a little less about, I'm sure there's other channels about the hustle and like how to, just squeeze out 1 ETH and the 0.1 ETH, and then sell it again, and then like you're just sitting there on these on open seas. I don't know if you guys have been there at the early days, where just like you would just see like the bots and like and the people who were just there just trying to eke out 0.05 ETH, just enough over gas and transactions going back and forth. And to their credit, they made a lot of money, and I'm sure of it, or they wouldn't be doing it. But what I'm looking for is value, and as a creator, bringing value to tokens, and highlighting ones that I think are bringing value to the space, that's beyond just the transactional one. Because I dig it, because all of us coming from DeFi, which was a fun thing, that gets a lot of that gets translated into the NFT space, and it's exciting. But I think looking at the art and the potential of it, I think there's more here. And so I'd like to go with you guys and talk about what the more is. So please like and subscribe so that we can keep the conversation going. Thank you guys.